High temperature here to 87 degrees, no wind whatsoever, bright, clear day, and we've got a capacity crowd at hand to see BYU and Hawaii. BYU won the coin toss and deferred to the second half. Hawaii elected to receive, so now we have Joe Herrick kicking off, and you've got Matthew Harding and Brian Gordon, the two deep men for the University of Hawaii, and we're about ready to go with the ball game. Here is the kick. High and deep this time. It'll go well into the end zone and out of the end zone, and there'll be no return. So Joe Herrick, who kicked very well last week, does it right here. There's the starter for Hawaii. Michael Carter will be starting at quarterback. He is an excellent quarterback, maybe the best option quarterback in the conference. At least Coach Wagner says that is true. Here he comes onto the field. Last week he ran for 103 yards in their victory. It was 7 out of 12. That's the rushes. He rushed for 73. Here we go, and they spread everybody wide to the right. They've got 5 players spread wide to the right. 3 on the line, 2 deep, and 3 men at the line of scrimmage, 1 wide. And there's the snap, and it's fumbled. I'll tell you what happens. Now flags go down. Carter was moving up towards the center. The ball was snapped and hit him in the shoulder.
Is Jim Fossil here? That's the duck.
That's the old duck. That's great. That's true.
And Jay, you're absolutely right. You cannot be moving forward. And watch what Carter does here. He takes a step forward. And well,
what a way to start
plans.
the ball game.
For those of you who don't know, as we take a look at the starters on offense, and Pele is probably their best. Jim Fossil, when he was at the University of Utah, now he's with the Denver Broncos, used to run a formation like this. It was called the duck. He had a guy named Scott Mitchell, and they'd come out and they'd throw the ball with him. Just a little more conventional this time.
And you saw the starters offensively for the Rainbows. And they're running the option. That's Carter. He pitches it back to Jasper. Turns the corner all the way to the 30, the 35, the 36-yard line. So they ran the option that time, and Jasper ran it pretty well. Brian Hughes made the tackle, along with Travis Hall. The defensive starters for the Cougars, Brock, Gomes, and Pitts, good ones, some veterans. Travis Hall is a fine outside defender. And then you've got Hall, Hughes, and Herget. Hughes new to the program this year, but he was a great player at Ricks College. And the deep men for BYU, Charlton Christensen, who's back from an injury, Masota, and Patrick Mitchell. 1st and 10 for the Hawaii team. Carter's with the football, and they'll drop him. They'll sack him. He faked it. He wanted to throw that time, but right on top of him was Nathan Hall.
You know, I liked Hall a bunch last year. He just gets off the mark. That play was ugly from the get-go. Normally, Hawaii runs an exceptional spread, and this time it just didn't happen. The offense that we're looking at, as you pick up the replay here, it's a Georgia Southern offense, and Paul Johnson's done a great job with Bob Wagner getting this thing rolling. Hall doesn't stunt that much, but when he does, good things usually happen.
2nd and 14 as they split 2 men wide to the right. 1 set back, 1 man to the left. Carter, the quarterback. Carter looking things over. And the snap. There's the pitch back. Around the left side this time, dropped to the 35-yard line. Making the stop was Casey Mazzata, and I think it was Jasper again.
You know, Dick Felt secondary did a good job that time, Jay, because they really played a little con, and I thought got Mike Carter to change the play at the line of scrimmage, and then they went back to their initial set. Mazzata did a good job, came up and makes the hit. I kind of like him. He's recruited by Fresno State and Stanford. He's a transfer from Cerritos Junior College. His father coached him there.
They have 3rd and 11 for the Rainbows. Again, 2 men wide. He's rolling to the right, looking to throw. Sets up, throws into the middle of the field, and it'll be incomplete. Touched by a Cougar, Patrick Mitchell, who is back covering very well. There was not a chance to complete that one. Mitchell was right on it.
You know who did a great job that time was the linebacker. I haven't seen too many linebackers get that far downfield. Todd Herget, as we pick it up here, he'll give underneath coverage. They try to go with a deep dig, and Carter sets up and throws, but you're not going to complete a pass when you got underneath coverage like this. Watch 36. Well, he doesn't come into your picture, but he gives him great underneath protection.
Herget's a young man, I think, with a chance to play in the NFL. Here is Stephen Wilson punting, gets the kick away. It's not very deep. Fair catch, the signal. It's taken the 33-yard line by Drage of BYU. So the Cougars will take over offensively for the first time in the game. This is the 5th trip to Provo by Hawaii. They have never won in Provo. They've lost 3 times with Lavelle Edwards coaching, then they lost 1 back in the 50s. Here's the starters for BYU. Now, John Walsh is the quarterback. He's big and he's strong with a rifle arm. Played very well last week against the University of New Mexico. So he'll be directing the Cougar attack. In fact, his pass efficiency, 182.8 for last week.
Well, they don't have many arms as good as this one. This is a John Elway type of arm. All boils down to how well he reads. And they start out in the gun.
Here's the snap. Walsh looking, rolling to his right, being chased. Throws it and completes it to Heimuli. Heimuli's got 10, maybe 11 to the 43-yard line. Avai and Santa Cruz making the stop. Along the line for the Cougars, you've got Empey, Edwards, Simmons, Pilgrim, and Herring. Simmons is the newcomer, and he had a pretty good opening game at center. Then Heimuli, Hall, the setbacks, Drage, Anderson, Saluoni is the tight end. Sometimes this year they'll have 3 wideouts in there and not a tight end.
That's become a very popular formation. It really places pressure on that defense.
1st and 10 Cougars. Saluoni shifts over the right side. 2 splitbacks. I think there was a mix-up that time. Walsh turned around like he wanted to pitch and then decided, wait, it'd be better if I just keep the football and they lose yardage.
Yeah, that's one you like to forget when they bring it up in the films. Here's a look at who we'll see down linemen. Boy, they were great last year. If that name Mansfield rings a bell, his father was a center for the Steelers, the linebackers. And Tupola had a nice ball game last week. And the veteran Henderson in the secondary. And I'm sure there's some other people we'll see, like Vic Odom.
They've shifted around a little bit in their secondary, but they have veteran players there. 2nd down, about 13, 14 yards to go for BYU. Running play to Hall around the right side. Good blocking. There he goes. He's all the way to, oh, they bounce him out of bounds. I mean, if he could have stayed in bounds, it would have been 6. But Robbie Blakeney bumped him out of bounds.
Guy that look at Hall limp, though. It's not a good sign for him. You want to see somebody who does it every time I watch him. Watch number 70, Evan Pilgrim. This guy gets upfield as good as anybody. Watch the key block right there. Who was it? Evan Pilgrim. And Hall, with an exceptional gain, does come up limping, however.
Kalen did not play at all last week against New Mexico, but getting the start here today. He's still in the game. It's Hall and Heimuli as the 2 running backs. 1st down, Brigham Young on the Hawaii 42-yard line. It's a pitch to Hall around the right side. Knocked out of bounds at the 40. Hall, of course, was injured last year in Hawaii and taken to the hospital. Demetrius Henderson, the tackler.
Demetrius did a good job, as did Alan Boardman. They went to the short side of the field as you look at Robbie Bosco. Robbie, the QB in that national championship team. Jay, we were talking at during the open about Bosco's arm. Remember how strong a gun he had till he got hurt? See, people only saw him when he dropped down. He used to have a cannon.
Chad Knowles is in at running back now, replacing Hall. Knowles is a sophomore out of Sandy, Utah. A decathlete. He's an excellent athlete. 2nd down and 8 for BYU. I think Hawaii jumped. The ball was not snapped. Vic Santa Cruz. Flags are down, and we'll check it out. This is the first offensive series of the game for BYU.
Dead ball foul, encroachment, defense. 5 yards, still 2nd down.
5-yard penalty on the University of Hawaii.
Referee was Mike Perea. Will pick up his crew. There is his crew. And I'm sure they all ate their carrots last night, Jay, because you always advise them to do that. There's Bob Wagner. That's a good coach. 62% winning percentage. He works very well with his assistants.
He'd always had some good defenses, but the last few years they added an explosive offense, and now they've been good. Big win for them. Now Walsh comes out and calls timeout. Big win for them was beating Illinois in the Holiday Bowl.
That was a great win for the conference.
There is a timeout on the field. There's no score. We're about 4 minutes into the 1st quarter. Okay, back to the ball game. Interesting note, only 4 WAC teams have ever won here in Cougar Stadium, and Hawaii's not one of them. They're 0-4.
Yeah, tell you what, it ain't easy to come in here and win.
San Diego State, Colorado State, Wyoming, and Air Force each have 1 win here. 2nd down call, and Heimuli will get it. He's wide to the right, and he's knocked out of bounds. Again, if he could have stayed in bounds another 10 yards, but he has the 1st down. Junior Fa'avai made the tackle.
3-yard gain,
Heimuli's just tough. Saw him run a kickoff back for a touchdown a year ago. He's one of those guys that just never lets you down. Of course, his brother was really tough. In fact, if those 2 guys fought, I'm not sure who'd win. As you look at the coach, Lavelle Edwards, third winningest coach among active folks.
Hey, Mooley's only a sophomore, too. Ran back the opening kickoff in the Aloha Bowl for a TD. 1st and 10, Brigham Young on the Hawaii 29-yard line. May have been offsides again. This is Kalen Hall dancing into the middle and works his way down to the 25. There's also a flag down, and Hawaii might have been offsides.
Looked like that right tackle jump. BYU should take the play because they'll get an extra down, and it's about the same amount of yardage.
Well, they're changing the cadence a little bit. Hawaii is a team with great quickness. They really like to come after BYU. Maybe they're just a little over anxious here.
Well, I just think that it's such a rivalry. I mean, the game we saw last year in the Islands, Jay, you couldn't ask for a better game. It was incredible. One team would come back.
Offsides, defense, repeat first down.
So it's first down for BYU at the 24-yard line. Lavelle Edwards has a great winning record about any way you want to look at it. Home openers, road openers. 1st and 5, BYU. That's Kalen Hall wide to the right. Pilgrim's out in front with him, and he's got the first down. He's inside the 20, and as Herb pointed out, the big number 70 out in front of him.
You remember the days when people, as you take a look at some of the crowd here, and we'll pick up our tacklers here, Jay.
Well, it was Blakeney and Tupuola.
Remember the days, though, when BYU just kind of ran once in a while to keep you honest? That's not the case anymore. They run a great sweep. They run a lead draw, and you better be prepared. You just can't play. You just can't play for the pass. Take a look at it in the red zone versus New Mexico.
3 times they got in there last week, and they got a touchdown each time. 1st and 10, Brigham Young from the 17-yard line. This is Mooley to the right side. Mooley has to do it by himself, but he gains some yardage. He's inside the 15. Williams and Mansfield tackling him. Mooley had 70 rushing yards last week for the Cougars.
Oh, yeah, he does a good job. I really like the way Williams played defense that time. Stewart's just a pretty good football player. He's a quiet man. Remember that fumble recovery he had last year in the Islands? It helped the Bows beat BYU. It was exceptional. Well done.
3-yard gain, make it 2nd and 7 for Brigham Young, threatening to score here in the first quarter. Knowles is now in. This is a pitch to Mooley. Around the corner he goes. He's got the first down, I believe. Let's check the mark. Yep, he does. He's down about the 6 or 7-yard line. Power football. Stu Williams and Demetrius Henderson stop the score.
Short side once again. Remember, the hash marks have changed things. Let's take a look from the end zone. Watch 70. Strong side, pulling, leading. Now he'll get one man, and then he tries to go downfield and help out there. I know I sound like a press agent for this guy, but how many 290-pound guys get ink? We got to take care of them a little, huh, Jay?
Yeah, right. You know, the defensive coaches don't like that change of the hash marks.
No.
Gives them more room to cover. It's like they lost an extra defensive player. Now do we get a timeout? Timeout called by Hawaii. BYU will have the ball, 1st and goal on the 6-yard line. This is the Blue and White Sports Network. Brigham Young University has a first down on the Hawaii 6.5-yard line. In 8 plays, 7 of them have been runs. 1 pass and it was completed.
Gets a little stickier down here now.
So here are the Cougars, 1st and goal then at the 6.5-yard line. Mooley and Hall, the running backs. Drage goes in motion to the left side. They'll run it to Kalen Hall. Kalen dances to the 5-yard line. Not a big gainer. Stu Williams and Robbie Blakeney closing things down.
Good call by the coordinator, Chris Smeelan. He sent Victor Santa Cruz on a stunt. That ruined the timing of the play. So they pick up a couple. If you're going to throw, probably got to throw this down if you're going to play fake.
2nd and goal at the 5-yard line for Brigham Young. Tyler Anderson goes wide to the left. Nowatzki wide to the right. Mooley and Hall the setbacks. It's Hall on the sweep to the right side. Cuts inside one blocker. He might. It's going to be very close. Nope. The official said he was out of bounds at about the half-yard line. Fine effort by Kalen Hall.
It was a great effort because Hawaii had it well defense. And Hall, who came up limping about 10 minutes ago, looks a little gassed right now, but look at this effort here. Pull a guard, both guards pull, and there isn't anything doing. Hawaii does a great job defending it, and he's able to make something out of nothing. Almost gets in. Good effort.
Mansfield and Henderson forced him out of bounds. Hey, Mooley threw a bump block down there too to help him out. 3rd and goal for the Cougars on the half-yard line. Rainbows load up the line. Cougars in a power alignment. Kalen Hall's in for the score. Off to the left side, they'd run everything else to the right, this time to the left.
Watch Hamuli here as he'll kick out. They double down. There's the double. You don't see Hamuli. You see his man as he crab blocks on the side. And Hall, who really did most of the work carrying the football, 6 for 35 and a touchdown. Our professional stat crew really doing a job, Jay. We got to get him a raise.
We'll work on that. We'll take it out of yours. Here's Joe Herrick to try the extra point. Joe, the senior from Orem, Utah. Kicks it. Good. And Herrick converts. And let's see, on the season he missed. Well, there's 1 block last week. So he is now 5 out of 6 kicking extra points on the season. And BYU has the first scorer.
Player of the year from Dixie College, Kalen Hall. We're taking a look at him right now. Went to the same high school as Greg Maddox. Not a bad pitcher. Let's take a look one more time at the touchdown. If you appreciate blocking, watch the left side as they just are able to seal everything off. And then Hamuli with a kick out block. Hamuli getting the start today because Willis is hurt.
You should see the trophy that Kalen Hall has as the National Junior College Player of the Year 2 years ago. My understanding it's the equivalent of the Heisman for a junior college.
Really?
It's a beautiful eagle plaque.
Tell you something, I got a chance to ride an airplane with him back from Hawaii last year. This guy's got his head on straight. I like his attitude. You look at Bob Wagner. Bob was at Washington with Don James. He was a pretty good lacrosse player.
Wagner?
Yes, sir.
All right.
There's the scoring drive.
3:23, 11 plays, and Herrick will kick off for the 2nd time in the game. And we have Harding and Gordon are the 2 deep men. Harding, the little sprinter who caught that key pass right at the end of the game last year that set up the winning score for the Rainbows.
He also blocked a punt. He's a big play guy.
Here's Herrick. High, not very deep this time. It'll come down around the 10-yard line. Harding's got it. He's to the 20, to the 20. Fumble the football. BYU's got it, I believe. It was pulled out of his arms, and the Cougars have recovered. And boys, that BYU team excited.
Guy jumps
Morris?
up. Well, I've got 39, except I don't have 39. We'll pick it up and then get you the number. Make sure we give credit. Here's the wedge up the middle. BYU. There's 39. Somebody knocks it loose, and he's able to jump on it.
Well, the name on his back was Rob Norris, if that's correct. He is the freshman out of Idaho, and he is quite a football player.
In this situation, Jay, Lavelle likes to bomb you. The football's at the 26-yard line. Grage hadn't touched it yet. He's to the right, and Anderson is to the left. Bump coverage. Look out deep. Grage on the right side. Now they back off of the bump.
All right, Cougar football. They're leading 7-0. A reverse. Tyler Anderson is turned back inside, gets away. He's to the 20 and knocked out of bounds to the 17-yard line. They had him back around the 20-yard line. Was it Anderson who he got past Anderson? Carlos Anderson.
Let's take a look from the end zone. And once again, here's your call. And you like to do something like this after a turnover. Well played by Hawaii. Watch who's downfield blocking, Jay. I know I sound like this guy's father, but number 70.
Well, Tyler Anderson, number 4, is the fastest player on the BYU team. He's a sprinter.
Yeah, a little track experience, and Hawaii played it well, just unable to make the play, and they facing second and 2 again.
That's Kalen Hall. There he goes, 10. He's going to score. How about that one? A.J. Legion Hart Ellis had a clean shot at him, and he just sidestepped him.
Roger French has to be pretty pleased the way things are working out. He handles the offense along with Myron Chow, Lance Reynolds, Robbie Boscow. They just run off the right side. And Hall with the second touchdown of the day. But I got to tell you something now. He showed some moves that I haven't seen him show in the 2 years I've been following him.
Or if he can move left to right or right to left about as quick as any runner you've ever seen at BYU.
And he wasn't a leading rusher last year. Leading rusher, Jamal Willis, sitting down.
Herrick kicks it through, so Herrick on the season is now 6 out of 7 kicking extra points. BYU leads 14-0. Well, the ball is bouncing BYU's way right now. Scoring drive didn't take long, Irv, to get in with that second one after the fumble recovery.
Yeah, Rob Morris, who that's who we believe had the fumble recovery. If it is, this is a guy who's really impressed the coaching staff in scrimmages. Just a freshman from Nampa, Idaho.
Here's Herrick to kick off. Herrick drives this one deep. There'll be no return on this one. That is taken right at the end of the goal.
Here's the touchdown, Jay. Watch the right side. Watch Big Herring, guy who got hurt last year. But here is the story. This looks like Crazy Legs Hirsch. That's a great run. There wasn't anything doing there. Hawaii had it well defensed, and he just dances into the end zone.
Irv, I bet that ankle feels a lot better right now.
He's already got 53 yards. Hawaii's got to get something going. It's just as simple as that.
1st and 10, Hawaii at the 20. Bring a man in motion to the right side. Carter, the quarterback. Carter wants to throw. Does throw. Completes it on the sidelines. The 25. Spun off his feet about the 27-yard line. A quick out of that time to Brian Gordon, the senior out of Columbus, Ohio. And Vic Tarleton wrestled him down.
Nickname is Money. He was a high school quarterback. And, you know, you go back to the first series, Bob Wagner came out in what we call the duck around here. Jim Fossil started it. It's an unorthodox formation, tried to catch BYU nap, and the problem was they just didn't handle it. They ended up with a fumble, and it's been downhill since then. Keep in mind now, this quarterback, Carter, is very gifted. He can get you back in a hurry. Good read.
Oh, a quick opener. He's into the secondary all the way to the 50 to the 47-yard line. They open it up quickly on the left side to Calvin Melvin. The running back on the team, Casey Masada, missed the one tackle, but Vic Tarleton got it.
Remember, Travis Sims was so good last year, and he made this ball club effective by running tackle to tackle, and that's what they hope Melvin can give them. This is a burst right here, and this will keep you honest, keep those linebackers from flying out of there for the option. Well done.
First down to the Cougar 47-yard line. Carter with the ball, fakes it, still has it. There's the pitch back, nothing doing this time. The pitch back went to Ivan Jasper, and so did Patrick Mitchell go to it.
You know, he was a big-time corner a year ago, and that is as effectively as you can play. He beats the arc block on the outside. He comes up and just punches the running back's ticket. Well done.
Another player with some sprinter speed. It was the WAC hurdles champ.
Look at Bob Wagner taking notes. All good coaches take notes, Jay. Don't trust it to memory. I did that a long time. See if they throw.
2nd and 9. Carter still got the football. There's the pitch back again. And a lot of room this time down the sidelines to the 30. There's some speed. Knocked out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Great run by the Rainbows by Brian Gordon, and Patrick Mitchell came all the way across the field to get him.
It's a good call by Bob Wagner, Rich Johnson. Watch the option. They get just a little bit of a block on the perimeter, the point of attack. Here's the read by Carter. He reads it pretty good. Now look, here's the block, and Gordon with a burst is able to pick him up and lay him down. He's got his ball club down to the 6-yard line. We have a touchdown right here.
41-yard run. We have 7:43 to go in the first quarter. BYU leads 14-0. 1st and goal at the 6. Carter gives it straight ahead, and there's nothing at all, no hole whatsoever. The handoff was to Calvin Melvin, and Lenny Gomes and Randy Brock ran right into him.
This is the best threesome in the WAC. Gomes, Brock, and Pitts. They're just extremely difficult to move, and I saw Gomes just make play after play last year. Normally you get hit from both sides if you're a nose guard, as you look at Lenny. And he's a legitimate candidate for honors. They'll run the option this time.
2nd and goal. Movement along the line, flags down. Lenny Gomes' biological father is here today. He is seeing him play for the first time. You know, last year Lenny discovered who his biological father really was, living up in the Northwest, a man named Gregory, and he's here today to see him play for the first time.
False start on the offense. Still second down.
It's a tough break for the Bows. Jeff Morrow, the right tackle, jumped. Now Bob Wagner's got to come up with a second down play and long yardage. They were going to option, in my opinion, that time. They may still come back and run the option. Strength of the formation is to the left side. Trips left.
It's 2nd and goal at the 10-yard line. He gives it down to about the 1-yard line. He faked the handoff and gave it to Calvin Melvin, and he almost scored.
Jay, you'll never see a better read in your life. That was like an Air Force Academy read that you're used to with the D. Dowitts. Look at this read. He reads the down lineman all the way, gives him the football. Everybody and his brother is looking for a throw or the option, and that's just a terrific call.
Casey Masada stopped him, so the Rainbows have 3rd and goal on about the half-yard line, trading Brigham Young 14-0.
Now you expect him to go inside here. My guess is he'll run the option and not
going to call timeout.
Well, not a bad call because you got a lot of size there with BYU. Here's a good chance to be a quarterback at home. What would you call here with all that size? My guess is he runs the option, tries to duck in the 6 or 7 hole. There's the story there in the rushing yardage. The strategy you would think is to run up the middle. BYU's very big. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see him option.
Hey, it's 3rd and goal, short yardage. I think they got the score.
Shows you what I know.
Off the left side. Not by very much, but they do get the touchdown as Calvin Melvin gets it in there. And that is his first touchdown of the year.
Got a great block by Peter Pele.
So the Rainbows answer.
Watch the left side. Watch them cave. That's not bad. Herget with the tackle too late. So we got ourselves a ball game as Hawaii comes right back after that fumble and score by BYU.
And they'll try. They had everyone lined up over the left side. Now they shift over to try the extra point. Carlton Oswald, who's a freshman out of Lake City, Georgia, will try to kick the extra point. And his kick is good. And he is now 2 out of 3 kicking extra points on the season. So the Rainbows do what they had to do.
We haven't even.
They answer.
Yeah, they did. We got ourselves a ball game. We haven't even talked about a guy who was so good he was drafted in the 3rd round as a kicker, Jason Elam. Denver Broncos drafted. How many times do you see a kicker drafted? I mean, he is sensational. Everybody in Denver just raving about him. And, you know, something that people in the WAC have known for a long time. Watch Melvin. Good surge by the offensive line. And Melvin, who did most of the work in this effort, along with Gordon. Don't let me shortchange him. Cuts it to 7 with 6:25 left in the period.
You know, I think sometimes, Irv, if you were a football coach and you were coming into the WAC, you wouldn't want to take a defensive assignment. Think of the.
You better have some guys who can run 4-4 in the corners.
Think of the explosive offenses that we see in the Western Athletic Conference. It's amazing.
Yeah. And you're really seeing 2 varied styles here today. This man, when he took over at BYU, it averaged 3 wins a year, and all they do now is win the league. And this man has really put Hawaii on the map. Now, one day somebody's going to say, how come they get to play 8 home games every year? Well, until that changes, everybody wants to go to the islands. He's got a nice little offense, so they got from Georgia Southern.
They brought 3 kickers with them, and it's Bach Stabile who is kicking off, and he's got everybody lined up right in back of him in a tight alignment. You know, the rule this year is you've got to have 4 players on each side of the football. You can't line everybody up on one side. It's a new rule. So now they shift, and here's the kick by Stabile. And it's going to bounce, and will it go out of bounds? BYU hopes it will. It does at the 7-yard line, 8-yard line, which means the Cougars will have the option of taking the kick over or taking the ball at the 30, 35. Which is it, Eric?
35.
35.
Getting back to Jason Elam, though, all he did is beat out a guy who had his best year, David Treadwell, who's now kicking for the Giants. And, you know, a lot of people seem surprised. Well, people who followed the WAC aren't surprised.
That's an illegal procedure, a kickoff out of bounds. BYU elects to take the ball at the 35-yard line, 1st and 10.
First down, Cougars on their own 35. They're leading 14-7. Did Elam look like he, right from the start, did he have the job? Or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's so smooth. It's effortless. Well, there's an interesting stat. And really not surprising if you think about the philosophy.
The record is 246 held by UCLA. Looked like Hall slipped as he started to make his cut. He'll lose a couple yards in that one.
Loss of 3 on the play. Second down, 13.
BYU ahead 14-7. We've got 6 minutes to go in the first quarter of this game. BYU and Hawaii. Both teams won last week. The Cougars beat New Mexico in a league game. So here the Cougars with second down and 13 at their own 32. Mooley and Hall are the setbacks. They bring Hall over the other side. Bootlegging the ball is Walsh. Back to pass. Scrambling. Sets up. Throws. Completes it in the middle of the field to Knowles. And Knowles is over the 40 to the 43. It's short of first down yardage.
Strength of the formation with the boot. They wanted to throw the right. And I like what Walsh did. Well covered on that left side by Henderson. Here's where he wants to go. Here's the boot. Pulls the guard. Protect the backside. Nothing doing. So you dump off and get what you can. In this case, you get 9. Well done.
Junior Fabai, the tackler. Cougars have third down. They need 2 yards for a first down. And they lead by 7 here in the first quarter. Morris goes in motion to the right side. Gets Mooley going for the first down. He's got it. He's over the 45 to the 47-yard line.
Run behind Pilgrim and Herring. And boy, that's a lot to run behind. Herring.
Santa Cruz on the tackle.
What do they list him at now, Jay?
Herring, 330, I believe. That was Sia Ose who made the tackle.
Here's the action off the right side. Pilgrim with the hit, and then he goes downfield. Herring stays with his man. Nothing fancy. You just move your feet and drive block.
First and 10 Cougars on their own 46-yard line. As they bring Bryce Doman wide to the left. He had 3 TD receptions last week. 3 touchdowns against New Mexico. Shotgun this time. Kind of flood on the left side. Walsh is hit as he throws the ball, and it goes incomplete. Incomplete pass. Hit just as he threw it by George Tupuola.
He's the guy we talked about at the top. He had a big ball game last week, and he just breaks free, does a terrific job. Watch Tupuola. 3 wides on the right side. Tupuola just beats his man and comes in and lays a pretty good lick on him. He was able to get by Mike Empey, pretty good football player. Nicely done by Tupuola.
Second and 10 Cougars from the 46. 4:28 to go in the first quarter. Brigham Young leading 14-7. This is Hall on a sweep to the right side. The blocking's out in front. Now they close it up. He does get to the 50-yard line. Why had a player sprinting to the sidelines to get off the field, or they had too many players out there. Stu Williams again, the tackler.
He's pretty steady.
Williams and
5'11". They list him at 224. Now Chris Smealand has changed a few things out there now, and they're playing much better defense. I think BYU is going to have to start to throw the football.